Hi everyone and welcome. Thank you for sticking with me through the technical issues that we had today. But I want to say thank you to Mackay Chamber of Commerce for organising today. Today I really want to give you some thought starters, some inspiration sparkers and some things to take action on what I think is a really critical time for all of us in business. We've just come through the craziest time in our lifetimes, and I think from a business perspective we are heading into a window of opportunity right now. I don't like to use that word because I'm certainly not downplaying the death and devastation and loss that has been attached to COVID, but from a business point of view right now, I do believe we have an opportunity to really look at focusing forward, to reimagine, to reset, and to potentially activate some strategies to grow our business and grab market share. So I've got some slides to take you through. I've got some points and some strategies. I know there's a lot of different businesses represented on the call today, but I really want to give you some insight into where I think things are heading and some of the things that we need to all as business owners be taking action on in the next few weeks and months. So today is all about how you can go from fragile to agile. Now, as many of you know, what I'm normally doing, what I usually spend most of my time doing is a conference speaker. Last year I did 106 keynote presentations, and when COVID hit, obviously my business completely evaporated. So I did 106 presentations last year. For the rest of this year I'll do probably 0 presentations. In fact, I remember it was March the 13th this year. I was in Bangkok in Thailand, and I was presenting the opening keynote at a travel conference, ironically. And as I walked off stage, I had the distinct feeling that it would probably be my last on-stage presentation for quite some time. And by the time I arrived back in Australia, coronavirus was hitting, talks of lockdowns were imminent, and of course in those first few weeks and months things got pretty crazy, and like everyone I went through the full gamut of emotions, from shock to sadness to grief, and you know, really sort of that whole WTF moment that we've all been through. And COVID, while it impacted my business dramatically, and as I said, my speaking business completely evaporated, what's transpired since then is I've adapted and changed focus, rebuilt my business model, and I've actually in the last couple of weeks built a 6-figure business, which my team and I pretty much did in 5 days, and I'm going to share a little bit more with you throughout today in terms of how I did that. But today is really about giving you some strategies to think about how you can go from fragile to agile. Because if COVID has taught us anything, it's that in business, we literally need to be ready for anything. And certainly I think what COVID has shown is the fragility that exists in our businesses, in our business model, and in our future planning. And how robust and adaptable and flexible our business models are. And I think that what we're starting to see now is a real divergence between businesses and brands that are emerging and those that are perhaps submerging. So I want to give you some strategies today to make sure that you can use the opportunity over the next few weeks and months to fully emerge and to build a better and stronger business. There are no silver bullets in any of this, but we have to remember, as Napoleon Hill said, that with every adversity comes with it the seed for equal or greater benefit. So while there are no silver bullets, there are plenty of silver linings, and I'm hopefully going to give you a framework today to focus on those silver linings and look for the opportunities, because they are there for those that are willing to look for them. The first thing I think we need to all be really aware of and disciplined around is our perspective. A lot has happened. We're still dealing with shock and fatigue and the after effects and the aftershocks of COVID. But I believe that now's the time to be looking forward. And as Gary Vee says, don't look back. You're not going that way. So now is really the time to look forward, to look at being really disciplined with our goal setting and our planning, and of course not dwelling on what has been. So I do believe that we will look back on this time in history, probably not in the next few weeks and months, but at some point we will look back on this period and realise it was a positive thing. For many of us, it'll be the best thing potentially that's ever happened to us, because it is this opportunity that we've never potentially had before, and we may not ever get again, because it is an opportunity to reset, to reimagine and to re-engineer not only our businesses and our lives professionally, but also our lives personally. It's our opportunity to look at what do we want to take forward and what do we want to leave behind. One of the questions I'm being asked a lot, and the question that a lot of my clients are looking to me to answer is, what are the trends that COVID is either exacerbating, enhancing, or what trends are actually happening as a result of COVID. So I wanted to give you some insight today into what are the social trends, the consumer trends that are impacting consumer behaviour and will continue to drive consumer expectation, particularly as a result of COVID. Now, the first one, of course, is around technology. And we know that we're well and truly past the digital age. We know that technology adaptation has grown dramatically and has really sped up in the last, particularly the last 5 years. And a couple of years ago, there was a really interesting shift. And that shift was that the majority of online purchases are now done from a smartphone versus a desktop. So that to me is really fascinating. We know that through COVID, we've all spent a lot more time online. We've all done a lot more online shopping, not just for minor purchases and convenience items like groceries, but major purchases. A couple of weeks ago, I was running a focus group, a virtual focus group for one of my clients, Spring Free Trampolines. Now, if you know this brand, they're possibly the most expensive trampoline on the market. And the focus group was really to identify consumer behaviour and purchase behaviour. So there were 8 customers, Spring Free customers on the call. They'd all purchased a trampoline recently. So we're talking a $2,000 to $3,000 trampoline purchase. They'd all purchased it sight unseen, so that made this purchase online. But what was interesting is that nearly half the group had made that purchase from their smartphone. So we're not just talking about doing the grocery shopping now. We're talking about we're making major complex decisions, purchase decisions, and parting with thousands of dollars on our smartphone. So that for me is an exciting opportunity that consumers are now at that comfort level to be doing business on their smartphones. Of course, the big change that we've seen as a result of COVID is the whole new virtual world. I do find it interesting when I hear people saying, can't wait till things go back to normal. Well, there is no going back to normal. We are heading into a new normal. The fact is that 4 months ago, 72% of Australians didn't know what Zoom was. And now, of course, here we are living our lives in Zoom rooms. And for me, that's super exciting. Now, as a speaker, of course, I've had to adapt to virtual delivery, which is very different to on-stage delivery. And don't get me wrong, I miss humans. I miss being on stage. And I wish, of course, I was there with you all personally today in a conference room. But, the virtual environment has been a steep learning curve for me, but I'm excited about what that means moving forward. It won't be a matter of just going back to live events. Virtual is going to play a role. There's going to be a hybrid model moving forward, and that's impacting a whole range of really interesting industries where service delivery enables us to now reach more customers using Zoom, because people are now happy to not only connect over Zoom, but actually do business over Zoom. Mortgage brokers, this is interesting. So mortgage brokers, prior to COVID, the bank's rules was that you had to cite ID in person. They've, as a result of COVID, relaxed that rule, so you can now cite ID over Zoom. Now that to me is a game changer, because it means that if you're a mortgage broker, you are no longer geographically restricted. You can reach more people. You can utilize virtual and harness virtual to be more productive, to have more meetings, to have more sales calls, and reach customers in areas that potentially were a challenge before due to geographical boundaries. So I want you to think about, what does the virtual world, this new virtual comfort level, the fact that we're all, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure we're all having a bit of Zoom fatigue, But this whole fact that we now know how to not only connect virtually, we're doing business virtually, we are buying over, not only online, but we're connecting and buying and doing business in a Zoom room. So what potentially does that mean for your business? How is it potentially going to make you more productive? How can you incorporate a Zoom meeting into your customer journey to replace a touch point that was perhaps a little less personal? So these are the kind of opportunities that I think we need to be looking at, because let me tell you, your competitors may not be. And these, looking at harnessing post-COVID trends, certainly are an opportunity right now, a window of opportunity for you to potentially create a competitive advantage. So there is no going back to normal. That's certainly something that we need to accept. I do find it funny though, one of the interesting kind of Zoom things is that when we come into a Zoom meeting, we've developed this behavior where we all come into the Zoom meeting and wave. I mean, imagine if you came into a real meeting, like you walked into a boardroom and went, "Hi everyone," everyone would think you're a bit weird. So that's just a really interesting Zoom thing that I think is kind of funny. So I think the big outtake of this is that what COVID has given us as a gift almost is that we are now we have the opportunity to reach more customers even at a global level because of this comfort of Zoom, and because we can reach more customers virtually. I think the three other trends that are really interesting around, what post-COVID and what trends COVID has exacerbated or fast-tracked. I think there are three that certainly I was talking about prior to COVID that have really been highlighted post-COVID. The first is around convenience. So we are wanting convenient purchases. We're wanting that frictionless, contactless purchasing as well. We're willing to pay for convenience if it saves us time. One of the trends that I think we're going to see post-COVID is that this renewed focus on family and community. I think that unless you've been homeschooling, because that's a whole other challenge, you probably don't want to see your family for the next little while, but we have kind of all, I think, really reset and reimagined and really had a little bit of a reevaluation of what's really important to us, realizing that time is our most valuable non-renewable resource, and that time with family is really important. So I think we're going to be looking for purchases and brands that give us time back. So convenience is going to be a big factor. Time saving is going to be a big factor. So contactless, so frictionless, contactless pickup, I think, is here to stay. And also the kit economy. Many of you know that I talk about this a lot, the kit economy around consumers wanting complete solutions. We're not wanting to make micro decisions. We're wanting things in kit, complete solution form. And HelloFresh, of course, is a great example of that. HelloFresh sales have boomed through COVID, as have anything that delivers a convenience factor. So HelloFresh delivered their first box in Australia in 2011. Last year, they turned over $300 million. So the kit economy is here to stay. And when you combine that with the subscription economy, it just gets really fascinating. Now, subscription model is not right or suitable for every business, but it is certainly worth considering. Subscriptions is now how we purchase the majority of our technology. It's how we consume our entertainment. The subscription economy has completely revolutionized how we consume a lot of different categories. And I think that a lot of businesses in your sector right now are looking at how to incorporate a subscription, even if it is an offer or an option that you provide for your customers, where they can access and get more value from you, services and products on a subscription type model. So the big question, I think, is that post-COVID, and of course we're just coming into an era of COVID where potentially we're looking at a second wave. Victoria is certainly letting us down. I saw a great meme yesterday that Australia is facing a Spice Girls issue. Everyone's playing nicely except Victoria, which I thought was kind of funny. But the big question is, what do I do about marketing in this time of uncertainty and things are still quite unpredictable? So I think the big thing firstly is that really deciding where we're at in the journey. Now, for a lot of businesses, unfortunately, COVID forced them into hibernation. If you were in a restaurant, for example, a gym, a beauty salon, a hair salon, your business was forced into hibernation. Now, a lot of businesses have also used this time to innovate, to combination of hibernation and innovation. Really, again, rethinking your business model, rethinking a relaunch strategy. And then a lot of businesses have also had the opportunity to activate. So if you're Spring Free Trampolines, for example, their biggest challenge, of course, was keeping up with stock. If you were a home gym supplier, then things have done, COVID has been a really positive thing, and you've really activated your business through this. So I'd love to hear from you guys of these three kind of stages of COVID. Where is your business at, or where is your thinking at? Just maybe pop it in the chat box for me. Are you thinking right now you're potentially still in hibernation? You're still a little bit unsure about what COVID's going to bring. Now that restrictions have been eased, you've decided to still hang back. Are you using this time to innovate? Are you rethinking your business model? Are you rebranding? Are you developing new products and services? So are you in an innovation stage? Or right now, are you kind of relaunching, and are you activating? So pop in the chat box where you're at, because I'd love to hear where you're at, if you're activating, if you're hibernating, or if you're using this time to innovate. Ramona, you're working to innovate. Awesome. It is a great opportunity, isn't it, to be spending this time to innovate, because we don't, as I said, we rarely get this opportunity to stop and to reassess and to reimagine and reset. So this is a good time to innovate. And we've all got those projects that we want to get to, the book that we want to write, the podcast we want to launch, the new product we want to develop. So this is that time. So I'd love to hear what you're doing. Michelle, you are increased focus on options of how clients can engage with us. Awesome. Yeah, innovation. Innovation doesn't need to be developing a new product or a new strategy or a new launch. It could just be as simple as innovating a part of your marketing, innovating your customer journey. Start with a blank sheet of paper and really take a step back and go, okay, what does our customer journey look like? What does our customer experience look like? And how can we potentially use this time and this opportunity to look at that with fresh eyes? Start with a blank sheet of paper, map out what your current customer journey looks like, and then look at how you could innovate to really amp up those touch points, perhaps incorporating a Zoom meeting into it, giving a couple of different options, looking at leveraging different technologies. There's automations and technologies that exist right now that potentially didn't exist even 2 or 3 years ago, and now's the time to be reevaluating all of those. For example, if you're a service-based business and you like your customers to be able to meet with you, there are some really great options there around automation that completely streamline your workflow, make you more productive. For example, I've recently incorporated an app called Calendly, which is a really great automation that, just pop it in the chat box, that integrates with Gmail, and it also integrates with Zoom. So clients can go onto a link, they can choose a time to meet with you that all gets put into your diary, and it also automatically generates a Zoom link. So those kind of automations are things that potentially you could be looking at now to streamline your workflow and to come through post-COVID being more productive. So that's awesome. Kim, the company's been more focused on marketing, started to do more video content. Yay, I love that. You get a gold star, Kim. Sandra, we haven't stopped as due to COVID, everyone being home, they've booked our pest control. Yeah, pest control. Who would have thought that this would be a bolster for that? It's awesome. We're averaging 50 new clients a month. Go, Sandra. That is amazing. So, hey, here's the thing about, if COVID was an activation thing for you, there's a lot of business owners out there that, this kind of took them by surprise, not in the negative way, but also in the positive way, and scrambling to keep up, which is an awesome problem to have. But what I would say to you guys is really make sure that you, as things start getting back, not back to normal, but some sense of normality and back to less crazy times and less crazy demand, that you do take some time out to catch your breath, to to restore and to have a rest, and also potentially have this time to take stock and to innovate and really reflect on what you've learned through COVID and how those learnings can help you build a better business. So yeah, that's awesome that things have done well for you. All right, let's keep moving. So I guess the question that I want to pose to everyone is, what is your new post-COVID equilibrium going to look like? What are you going to take forward and what are you going to leave behind? What has COVID taught you? What have you learned about your business? What have you learned about your customers? What have you learned about yourself? And as I said, really deciding, you get to decide the ending to this story for you. So what does your post-COVID equilibrium look like? Is it going to be that you want a better work-life balance? Is it going to be that you're going to focus on a, really niche down on a particular customer profile? Is it going to be that you're going to streamline things? Is it going to be that you're going to ramp up the more profitable parts of your business and let go of perhaps the less profitable part? As I said, use this time to get that perspective and really do some deep thinking about what you want to leave behind and what you want to take forward. Someone has lost sound. Can everyone just still hear me? Just give Kathy, if you can give me a thumbs up. Awesome, that's good to hear. Glad it's not my tech failing again. So the other thing I think that now is the time to do that's really critical for everyone, no matter how COVID has affected you, positively, negatively, is get absolute clarity on your brand positioning. As part of deciding what you want your post-COVID equilibrium to look like, you need to get very clear on what your brand stands for, where you sit in the market, and really get some strength and some clarity around that. So really thinking about who you're best suited to serve, what your brand stands for, and really who you're going to niche down on. And when I say niche, that sounds scary to some businesses because they're like, I don't want to cut out lots of my market. But let me tell you, I want to share some examples with you of the power of niching and the power of absolute brand clarity. This is my mate, Rob Nixon. Rob Nixon is a mentor to accountants, is basically what he does. But Rob has been very successful and done a lot of work around getting absolute clarity around who he wants to work with and who his brand and his business is best suited to serve. So this is who Rob works with. He works with accountants turning over between $1 and $3 million who want to have $1 million per partner profit per year. That is who he works for. He doesn't work with any accountants that sit outside of that. He actually rejects clients that don't sit outside that. They come on board to his mentoring program. He charges them around $7,000 a month, and he has 52 members in his program. So just do the rough numbers on that, and that is the power of niching. Now for Rob, he's got not only a very clear niche, like he just works with accountants, which sounds like a very restrictive market, but he just works with accountants that fit within that criteria. And when we get brave and clear on who we want to work with, what happens is a couple of things. It makes our marketing much easier because we know who to target, we know how to find them. More importantly, it means that we are immediately positioned as a specialist and immediately we can charge more. So again, this isn't the right exact strategy for everyone. Like if you're in fast food, for example, you're not going to just niche down into one particular area. But if you're a service-based business, I do believe now is the time to get real clarity around who you want to work with, who you're best suited to serve, and really niche down and create a really strong specialist brand positioning around that. Here's another client of mine, the beautiful Nikki from Cherry Lending and Finance. So we've been doing some work with Nikki around what her area of specialty is and how she's going to differentiate herself in the market. So she is just focusing on first home buyers. That's who she loves working with. And for Nikki, it's been a little bit of a process to get bravery around just working with first home buyers and business owners. But now that she's doing that, she's already starting to see that she's attracting more of those clients. Her marketing is clearer, her marketing is stronger. So when you can have absolute clarity to your market, who you are best suited to serve and what your brand stands for and what your unique position is, it means that you immediately start attracting more of those types of clients. So brand positioning is one thing, I think, absolutely. And yeah, guys, please pop, if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat box as we go and I will get to them as we go. Deanne, How can we get across our message on quality without visiting our showroom? Excellent question. Deanne, I will say this, I don't know what type of business that you're in, but I'm assuming if you have a showroom, it's maybe bathroom products or something like that, but just pop it in the chat box and let me know. But the one, the virtual world is, again, completely changing the game. And I'll give you an example. I work with a prestige real estate agency here in Noosa called Reed & Co. And Reed & Co. specialise in the top end of the market in Noosa. So when COVID hit, they doubled down on a new virtual technology that had actually just been launched called Gavel. Gavel enables you to do very high-end, sophisticated virtual open for inspections. It's not just FaceTime, it has a lot more functionality than that. So they had a property that was $11 million and using Gavel, they sold that property to a New York buyer, sight unseen, with about, I think it was on the market for about 10 days. So that's the kind of, again, the kind of virtual technology that's available to us that gets me super excited. So Deanne, I don't know what kind of product specifically that you have, but I would be looking at two things. One is, how can you really embrace virtual? So how could you provide potential virtual tours of your showroom? Quality window coverings. Okay, awesome. So obviously window coverings is a little bit tactile, but again, how can you incorporate virtual? More importantly, how can you embrace video marketing so that you can get across the quality? And there's a number of different ways to do that. I'm going to get to video marketing in a moment. So thinking about virtual tours and also video marketing, not just showing the quality of your product, but also through testimonial videos as well. So how do you spell the name of that program? Oh, Gavel, I think it's, yeah, that's an excellent question. G-A-V-A-L or G-A-V-E-L? G-A-V-E-L, I think. We'll Google that together before we finish. But yeah, Gavel is it's a virtual tour open for inspection technology specifically developed for real estate. And here's the thing, because of COVID and because of the fact that we're now all in this virtual world and we don't know, A, how long COVID's going to continue on, and B, we don't know if there's potentially another pandemic is going to hit in our lifetime. There are tech companies right now developing virtual tools and virtual technology for your industry. So that's something I think to get excited about, rather than going, oh, I just can't wait till things go back to normal and I can't wait till all this COVID, shit show is over. Yes, okay, we all feel like that. But the flip side of that is, where are the silver linings in this for my business? How can I embrace virtual to reach more customers, to do more business, to be more productive, and to sell more of my product or service? So yeah, hopefully, Deanne, that helped. The answer to that question helped you. So I want to give you now what I think are the 4 killer strategies, no matter what business you're in, what industry you're in, to think about doubling down right now as part of your marketing activation. The first one is inner circle. This is particularly relevant, I think, in regional areas where we know that there's this renewed sense of community, but also we know that particularly if the majority of your market, the majority of your target market is female, as a lot are, we know that connecting women to each other, what it does is it strengthens the connection that they have to your brand. We're all time poor and we're all looking for ways to share our brand relationships. And this is a really little example of a hair salon who ran a VIP night where they invited their top clients. It was invitation only, but the invitation was for that client and a friend. So that was the key to the success of the night. So it was connecting friends, it was attracting new like-minded clients to the salon, and it was extraordinary. So this event cost them about $500 to put on. They've set up a number of different educational stations so you could learn how to do the perfect blow wave, how to do the perfect GHD curl. So it was educational, but it was also, you know, there was champagne and canapes. It was just a really nice, lovely night. So they sold over $5,000 in retail product on the night, picked up 13 new clients. But the really interesting thing is that the clients that they attracted and the existing clients had an average spend that was higher than the average. So this kind of strategy where you can connect your customers together, it kind of galvanizes the relationship. And as I said, when you can connect your customers to each other, what it does is it strengthens the connection that they have to your brand. So looking at ways to tap into the inner circle. Because the fact is we are all so time poor and we're all so busy, particularly women 25 to 40. We turn to our inner circle. That's where we learn about products and services and where we turn to for advice. The other one is bundle and bunch. Now this is kind of an extension of the kit economy strategy that I talked about, where consumers are looking for complete solutions. They're not wanting to make a whole bunch of micro decisions. Now's the time to take a step back and look at your product and service offering and ask yourself, are you asking your customers to make a whole bunch of micro decisions? Are you actually asking them inadvertently to join the dots on what goes with what? Are you asking them or expecting them to make a mental leap that if they're purchasing this product, they may need this product? The more that you can bundle and bunch and focus on complete solutions, it's just a really powerful, easy, streamlined way for you to increase your sales, because consumers do want the kit solutions. They do want complete solutions offered to them rather than having to make those mental leaps themselves. So bundle and bunch is the second one. Choice of three. Now this is a really interesting one, and this is a strategy that you can apply to lots of different things, from promotions to referral programs. And it's really quite simple, is offering a choice of 3 rewards. So rather than saying, if you purchase this product, you'll get this free widget valued at $50. What you'll find you'll get a better response from is, if you purchase this product, you will get a choice of one of these 3 rewards valued at $50. What happens when you offer a choice of 3 is that it immediately increases the engagement. Because if I say to you, if you purchase this product from me, I'm going to give you a choice of one of these 3 awesome things. The first thing you do subconsciously is that you choose. Which one would I choose if I was going to do this? So you're actually engaged in the act of the purchase, the referral, whatever it is that it's determined on, before you've even decided whether you're going to purchase or do the referral or whatever it is. So choice of 3 is really, really powerful. There's some psychology around the choice of 3, and that's why often when you're purchasing technology or packages or programs online, you'll always see them offered in 3 options. There's usually, a light, a medium, and a heavy, or there could be a silver, a gold, a platinum. There could be a done do it yourself, done with you, done for you. And so consumers like to have choice, because for us as humans, we feel like we're kind of choosing our own adventure. So choice of 3, again, is a really powerful strategy. Reward and recognize. I've been saying this to my clients, forever, but particularly since COVID hit, is that now is really the time to be completely doubling down on your customer loyalty, to be locking down loyalty. The best way to future-proof your brand and your business through whatever may come, whatever 2020 may throw at us next, because, anything's possible. Who would know what's going to happen in 2020? I think if a spaceship kind of landed and aliens popped out, we'd all kind of go, yeah, okay, it's 2020. But the best way to future-proof against anything is to completely lock down loyalty. So if you did nothing else as a result of our time together today, but went back to your business or back to your desk, or just after the Zoom meeting, because you're probably there, and looked at what are the top 20% or 30% of your clients, and what can I do that's really special for them? Find some milestone to recognize. Find some little gift pack. And one of the best things you can do, and I'm going to talk about this in a moment, one of the benefits that you guys have, this kind of secret edge, if you like, this secret weapon, this unfair advantage that you guys in Mackay have, is that you're a local community where the businesses, all of you, are so connected, and the opportunities that you all have to grow your business are actually sitting right under your nose. They're sitting on this Zoom call. Right in this call right here, we have the opportunity to grow all of our businesses by cross-referring, by joint ventures and cross-promotions. So I want you to think about, have a look on this call or afterwards, you know who's who in the zoo. Think about what are the complementary businesses or brands that you could partner with, where they would love the opportunity to market to your customers and you would love the opportunity to market to their customers. And look at how you could both provide something of value for your individual reward and recognition programs. So for example, I might have a day spa and I might do a joint venture with you if you have a gym. And I'd say, I'll give you half-hour massage vouchers for nothing. They're valued at $50 to give to your top clients. And you could perhaps give me a free trial membership to reward my top clients. So you're actually able both to provide something of $50, for example, perceived value, for a real cost to you of $0. So I think that's where we can start to get some real, some real leverage in a local community where you're able to cross-promote and form those joint ventures. And of course, joint venture marketing, there are hundreds of ways to do it. But just think about how you can collaborate, how you can cross-promote, and how you can joint venture to sample and be exposed to other complementary businesses. And in doing so, deliver value to your clients for your rewards and recognition programs. And the other one is, particularly for the service-based businesses on the call today, is put your prices up. We, particularly for the women, and I don't mean to single out the ladies, but ladies, one thing we're very good at is not charging what we're worth. And you know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to you, girl. So I want you to think about raising your prices. And if you're thinking, oh, I don't want to be expensive and I can't charge that, I just want you to remember this one slide. This is a real screen capture from the real Tiffany & Co website. You're seeing that correctly. That is a $2,650 gold paperclip. Is it $2,650? It's over $2,000 anyway. It's it's a really expensive paperclip, $2,650 gold paperclip. Now, call me crazy, but if there is a market for a $2,650 gold paperclip, I think we can all charge what we're worth. Give me a high five. Give me a high five. Yep, I want to hear it. I want to hear a whoop whoop. Okay, maybe not. It's still early in the day. Okay, so let's talk about some customer loyalty strategies, because again, I think doubling down on your customer loyalty and your customer experience. For any of you who have seen me speak, you know that this is what I bang on about. This is what I drive people to distraction about, is delivering a great experience for your customers. So a few years ago, not last year, the year before, I was really fortunate to get the opportunity to go to Mackay Island, which is Richard Branson's private island, and spend a week with Richard and 20 other entrepreneurs. It was an incredible experience, but what amazed me about Richard Branson is that despite, without doubt, being the most successful person at the table, he was always the most curious. He was always the most fascinated. Richard Branson's head exists almost permanently at a 12-degree angle, because he's so fascinated and he's so curious and he listens so intently that it's just extraordinary. For someone he turns 70 in a couple of weeks. His birthday is the day before mine. He turns 70 in a couple of weeks, and even at that age and with the success that he's had, he is so curious and always wants to know more. And it kind of struck me that this is why he is so successful, because he comes from that place of curiosity. He comes from a place of being interested, not interesting, even though he is the most interesting person. So having that constant fascination and that constant curiosity is the one thing in business, particularly as it pertains to the customer experience. So asking more questions of our customers, really coming from that place of curiosity and being endlessly fascinated about our customers, I think is a really cool thing to do. One of the other amazing people on that trip on Necker Island was a woman by the name of Katie Coleman. Katie Coleman was the first female NASA astronaut to lead a mission to the International Space Station. She's the coolest woman. She's about 5'2", and she sounds like a cartoon character. So when you're talking to Katie, you just can't even imagine her in a space shuttle. And so she had this mission, and she told the story of that mission really openly and honestly. So she had a Russian, an American, and a Chinese astronaut. And she had a real problem because all three astronauts hated each other and they actually wouldn't talk to each other. Now, I'm not an astronaut, but I'm imagining that if you're an astronaut, a bunch of astronauts, and you're hurtling in a space shuttle to the space station, communication is probably pretty important. It's probably important that you work as a team. And so Katie had a real problem that they just wouldn't communicate. So she had to put her own ego aside, and she had to start with the one thing that she knew that they all had in common. And that's the fact that all three of them hated that she was a female in charge of the mission. So that's where she started. That's the conversation that she started with, the thing that they had in common. And from there, she could actually get them talking and build the relationship. And the wonderful term that she had for it was magnetic threads. She said that we are all bound by magnetic threads as humans. They are just invisible, and it's our job to be asking the questions and being curious about the people around us, most importantly our customers, to find those magnetic threads, because we know that commonality builds trust. We know that commonality is the platform for trust. So the more that we can make those magnetic threads and those points of commonality visible, that's how we build long-term relationships. And ceremony, of course, is the strategy that I think we all have the opportunity, no matter what industry or business you're in, your business should have a sense of ceremony, because it immediately enhances the perceived value of your product or your service. If you've ever sat through a full Japanese tea ceremony, you know it takes about 20-25 minutes. What they recently learnt, listen to this very carefully, what they recently learnt is that the tea served at the end of the Japanese tea ceremony rated way higher on taste test research than the same tea from the same pot served into the same cup served straight up. Doesn't that blow your mind? The tea, the ceremony actually altered the perceived taste of the tea. Now that should get you thinking immediately and inspired and energized about the opportunity that we all have in our business to create a sense of ceremony. When I'm dealing with you, whether you're a mortgage broker, whether you're selling window furnishings, whether you're a fence builder, a car dealership, a graphic designer, I should get a sense that this is a signature way that you do things, that your process and your ceremony is unlike anything I can get anywhere. Because if you have a signature way of doing things, whether that's how you deliver on the customer journey, whether it's your welcome pack, whether it's your branding, you know, if I sense a sense of ceremony, it immediately changes the perceived value of what it is that you're delivering. So if you do nothing else today, but have a brainstorm after this session around how can I have a greater sense of ceremony in the way I'm delivering my product or service? Because, and you know, I'm guilty of this as well. When you're in business and you're delivering and you've got, you know, multiple clients and you're going through not through the motions, but you're going through that process to deliver, you sometimes forget that for them, for you, it's, you know, the 100th time you've done it that year, or for some of you that month. But for the customer, it may only be the only time, or the first time, or the only time since COVID, the first time since COVID. You know, one of the things that I did a lot of work with I've got a lot of clients in the fitness industry, a lot of Anytime Fitness, and I'm an ambassador for Fernwood Fitness, is I said to them, what you do with your first 100 customers that come back to the gym after COVID will actually set the tone for your success and your sales for the next 3 months. The first 100, the first 10, the first 50, the first 100, whatever it is, if you have a ceremony, a celebration ceremony around that, because yes, in your mind, it's getting business back and it's opening the doors again and all the functional things that you need to think about in this new world. But step into the shoes of your customer for a sec and think about what it is for them. It's like, this is a moment. This is a moment where I can go back to the gym and have, regain a sense of normality in my life. So it's a really big thing. And there are moments with our customers that are big for them, but might not be big for us. If you're a mortgage broker and you're writing hundreds of loans a year, a mortgage isn't a big thing for you. It's a paperwork and it's going through the processes. It's making sure the bank delivers and it's making sure settlement happens and it's making sure that the client, gets what they need in a timely fashion. But if we step out of that for a moment and step into the shoes of the customer, this is the most exciting thing that will ever happen to them. For some clients, it's the only time they'll ever do it. Or for some of them, it's the first time. It's the biggest investment they'll ever make in their life. And so when we can come at it from that perspective, it potentially changes the ceremony that we build around the customer experience. So ceremony, I think, is a really critical opportunity. In a couple of months, November this year, I was meant to be running a study tour to Japan. That obviously won't be happening. I'll probably go out for some sushi and drink some sake that night instead. But I was going to take a bunch of clients to Japan for a study tour because Japan is renowned for their service culture. If you've ever been to Japan, you know that they have a very unique way of approaching customer service. And there's actually a word in Japanese that describes the Japanese service culture. It's the only language in the world that has a word for it. And the word is omotenashi. And omotenashi simply means to be of service, not to be servant, but to be of service without expecting anything in return. And I think that particularly in this time that we're living in right now, we all need to be living and breathing omotenashi, to be helpful, to be of service, to be customer focused, not just what do they need from us, what do our customers need from us, but how can we help our customers? What is keeping them awake at night? What are the problems that they're facing that we could potentially solve? And again, this is where I think you guys have an opportunity. I think that regional, small town and local areas post-COVID have an underlying unfair advantage. You guys have a little bit of an edge right now because we're seeing that community is so important, connection is so important, caring is so important. We all need to be just a little bit kinder. And I think in a local community that already has connection and has that special fabric that you have, particularly in your area, that I think you are ahead of the game in living and breathing omotenashi. But if I wanted you to take one message out of today, it's that the more that we can live and breathe omotenashi in the way that we deliver on our products and services, the way we connect with our customers, the way we can come from that place of curiosity, find those magnetic threads, and that's how we future-proof our business. And that's how we go from fragile to agile. So omotenashi, I think, is kind of sums up what it is that this is all about, and the opportunity and the opportunity that we have post-COVID. Now, it wouldn't be an Amanda Stevens presentation unless I gave you all, smacked you all around the head a little bit around video marketing. And as you've heard me say before, if you are not using video as part of your marketing right now, you are climbing a mountain that's way steeper than it needs to be. So video marketing is, and I think we're seeing this intersection between video marketing and virtual. We're all now, we've been in Zoom rooms, so you've got no excuse for like, I don't like being on camera, I don't like being in front of the camera. Well, you've all done it now because you've all been in Zoom rooms, so I know you can do it. So video marketing is just the easiest, simplest, most cost-effective way to build your brand. Many of you have seen this before. It's our model that we use in our business. For the 6 videos that you need in your business, I will pop into the chat box a link where you can get more information on this, and I'm sure the Chamber will send this out as well. because yeah, video marketing is just the way to go. And there are 6 videos you need in your business. It's never been easier, simpler, or more cost effective to produce professional videos, particularly using your smartphone. So have a look at that link, which will give you not only more detail on those 6 videos, but also examples of those 6 videos. And also, by the way, specific examples of how I've used these 6 videos in my business, in my speaking business. So a few years ago, I decided to double down on video as my key marketing strategy, and it is just paid dividends. And all of the clients that I now work with in our new agency are all doing video marketing, every single one of them. So many of you don't know this, but before I became a speaker, I ran a marketing agency for many years, which I sold in 2011 to a multinational to focus on speaking. So when COVID hit and I could see that my speaking business had evaporated overnight, I already had some consulting clients, and I decided to relaunch an agency, which was kind of in the works already, but we just brought it forward. I have an amazing team in the Philippines who I've worked with for 4 years. So we tripled the size of the team in the Philippines, launched this business, and basically it became a 6-figure business in 5 days. And I'm happy to share with anyone the kind of strategy that we used for that. It was simply an event strategy similar to this. So we ran a marketing masterclass on the 28th of May and launched this offer, bolstered up the team, pretty much a lot of late nights and a lot of amazing teamwork. And we're now working with clients on a subscription basis. They pay a monthly fee and they have access to a virtual marketing department. So I want to share a couple of things with you around that, if it's helpful, around how we could build a 6-figure business in 5 days. The first one was, and I actually learned this from Richard Branson, a conversation that I had with him in a jacuzzi, actually, which is very cliche, particularly for Richard Branson. But one thing that he said to me on Necker Island, which has always stuck with me, is any decision that you make in business should always start with listening to your customer. And that sounds really obvious, but very few of us actually live and breathe that day in, day out, the way Richard Branson does. So when COVID hit and I couldn't, my speaking business evaporated, I made a conscious decision to not sell anything for the first couple of months and literally just serve, literally just live and breathe Omo Tenashi. So I did a lot of what I call recovery roundtables. So I did industry roundtables every day of the week for 6 weeks. So Monday I did hair and beauty, Tuesday I did travel, Wednesday I did health and fitness, Thursday I did retail, and Friday I did professional services. So I did those. Anyone could join, they were free, and it was basically just a roundtable where I could help and serve and add value wherever I could. I also offered to do 15-minute Zoom drop-ins with all of my clients. Was a little overwhelmed at the uptake on that. I did 76 15-minute Zoom drop-ins over a 6 or 7 week period. And it was pretty exhausting, but 2 amazing things happened for me out of that. And it was a real lesson for me, for someone who talks about Omo Tenashi all the time. The first insight was the boomerang effect on this was almost immediate. It wasn't why I was doing it. I was actually doing it for quite a selfish reason, to get up in the morning, to get out of my pajamas, to have an excuse to put some lippy on, and to feel like I had purpose, because otherwise I was just wandering around a little bit aimlessly, to be honest. So the boomerang effect was almost instantaneous. So I've got bookings for next year that I know have come from me just coming from that place of giving and serving. But the second thing is that it gave me, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was actually inadvertently running a little bit of an experiment where I was hearing firsthand and getting an incredible depth of insight into the journey that all of those industries were on, what they were facing, how they were feeling, what were their specific challenges, what they were needing, what was keeping them awake at night. And so all of that insight enabled me to develop this offer that has completely struck a chord of a done-for-you marketing service. So that's the power of when we go deep with our customers and we come from that place of just curiosity, just what can I do to help? What can I do to serve? What can Omo Tenashi give me, not just in terms of the boomerang effect of it, but what can it teach me about my customers? What insights can I get that none of my competitors have access to? So that's the power of living and breathing Omotenashi. So I kind of went off on a bit of a tangent then from video marketing, which some of you are probably secretly quite happy about. But yeah, I wanted to share that with you. Hopefully that's helpful. I've left plenty of time for questions and answers because, as I said today, I wanted to raise as many questions with you as I have answered. And I do wish I was there with you in person, but would love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions, pop them in the chat box or unmute yourself because I'd love to hear what you took out of today. And if you do have any questions, I'm here to serve and here to answer your questions. No? No one?
It might take a little while for somebody to unmute, Amanda, or type. You know, I know what I'm like because I'm on my iPad, so it'll be hard to type on my iPad. Yeah. So we'll, oh, here we go. It's Marie's got one, so I'll let
Marie, what is your sense of ceremony, Amanda? Yeah, awesome, great question. So I have a specific process from a speaking perspective with clients. I have a particular process that I take them through before and after the onstage, including a welcome gift and including the way I do my briefing. And with our new business, we've just put together, you know, we've actually had to build this a little bit as we've gone. It's been a little bit of bootstrapping, a little bit of jumping off the cliff and building the parachute as we go down. So we've just put together a welcome kit, and we're refining our ceremony processes as we go throughout to really hold the hands of our clients through the briefing process. And obviously we're utilising Zoom to deliver some quite ceremonious touch points throughout the process as well. So great question. Alyssa, how professional does our video marketing need to be? Awesome. I'm so glad you've asked this question. So the reason that, or the number one reason that business owners don't build their personal brand and don't put out videos is that they're worried that they're not perfect. I will say this, that if you've never done video marketing before, your first video will be terrible. It will be crap. But the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the better you get at it, the more you enjoy it. And we underestimate that in the palm of our hand, we have the most sophisticated marketing device ever invented. We can record high definition videos, it's got editing software on there, and most importantly, a distribution channel. I will say though that there are some ways to ensure that you get really good professional results from your smartphone. Because here's the thing, you don't, yes, in an ideal world, you'd have a videographer and a team to edit and all of that, but there are ways that you can do it really cost effectively, because there's no point doing video marketing if it's cost prohibitive. So I will, again, just tap into the chat box. Did I say tap? I'm going to type into the chat box. Just shot on my phone.com is a really great free course that's been released by our video company, but it's free, and it's basically everything you need to know to get professional results from your video using your smartphone. But I will just say, if you don't want to go through the course, the two things that make your videos professional from your smartphone, and we've got, like, these are high def now, like these are high def, what we used to pay thousands of dollars for a camera for, is just having a good microphone. And again, this is like $100 investment to get really shit hot results from your phone. A really good microphone, which can plug into your whatever phone you have, whether it's an iPhone or another dirty Android phone, and just have good lighting. And that's sometimes as simple as standing in front of a mirror so that you've got good lighting on you. So the quality of your video relies on a couple of things. Obviously, having good content, and go through those 6 videos because it'll give you a bit of a framework and a blueprint for what to make your videos about. Yeah, and not every video is going to get traction, but it's just about the fact that it enables you to be top of mind. It's a really cost-effective way. It starts to build your personal brand. It starts to tell your customers who you are, what you're all about. So yeah, good sound and good lighting, and obviously have good content. And they don't need to be long. A good, the ideal length for a video on social is 60 seconds. So and we can generally get a good point across in 60 seconds. Well, I can't. I usually take longer, but that's just because I talk too much. But Kim, thank you. I've taken away a good shot in the arm to get more of our video marketing. Awesome. I'm nervous as well. Yes. Do you know what? I have to tell you, as someone who is quite comfortable standing up in front of 5,000 people, I would rather do that any day of the week than record a video, which would surprise some people. Video is not a natural, it's not a natural environment for me. I'd much rather do a 60-minute presentation to 5,000 people and record a 60-second video. That's just the truth of it. So I have to work really hard to get comfortable with video. But as I said, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And the better you get at it, the more you will enjoy it. And as soon as, more importantly, once you start to see the results that it can have on your business, I guarantee, Kim, that you will be less nervous when you start to see the sales rolling in. Sandra, great to hear you speak again. Hey, Sandra, awesome. Got to run as we have a bird control quote to carry out. Well, that's important, a bird control. That's awesome. Organising gift baskets for our Big Barrier installs. Awesome. Reward and recognise. I love it. How does fragile to agile fit with your book 10 customers advocates? Very good question. So I think you're getting a copy of my book. Is that correct, Kathy? Yes, you're all getting a copy of my book. And I signed them all as well. So I signed 100 copies of my book for you. The way it fits is simply this. I believe that in business, the way that we can be less fragile and more agile is completely double down on our customer loyalty. The more loyalty you have sitting in your customer base, no matter what happens, another pandemic, a spaceship landing, something happening with the environment, or it is happening, but whatever, or something in your industry, the best thing to defend your business or to protect your business from the effects of external things that we can't control that way is down on customer loyalty. So turning customers into advocates is the best way to future-proof your business. Hopefully that answers that question. Deanne, third time with me. Will you get a t-shirt, Deanne? No, you don't, but thanks for tuning in for the third time. I must be doing something right. I appreciate it. Ramona, yay. Thanks, Amanda. I love the yays. And hopefully, as I said today, I didn't want to bombard you with too much, but, the thing is that just take action on a couple of things. Momentum builds momentum. So if you do nothing else, but just think about, take some time to read about your customer journey. Take some time to come up with 5 ideas that you can have more omotenashi. Take your top 20% of your clients and find some way to surprise and delight them. Watch what would happen to your referral rates. I guarantee for everyone right now, the greatest hidden value in your business right now is in your customer base. There are dormant referral opportunities that are sitting in your business. And the best way to bring them out, make them visible and activate them is to reward and recognize. So awesome. Thanks, Sue. Great motivator. I'm glad. Thanks, Jody. Great to see you on the call. Who else? Thank you. I haven't gotten to everyone's questions, but I just want to say thanks for tuning in. The fact that you're here investing your time in your business to look at, what's next says a lot about you and the strength of your business. So take action. Know that now is the time to be grabbing market share. There's still a lot of people who are really impacted by COVID, which is sad. And I don't think we're going to see the full effects of this for quite some time, but stay focused, stay positive, focus on the silver linings, don't look for the silver bullets, don't look back at messes with your neck, and just take action on a couple of things and get some momentum in your business. And also, if things are externally uncertain for us, which they are, is, taking action on some things also, I think, has a really positive psychological impact. So, yeah, I think I've gotten to everyone's questions. Chrissy, you work for Mackay Tourism. Yeah, tourism's a bit of a challenge, but domestic tourism I think is going to be strong for the next little while. So omotenashi with our operators. Yeah, great. You've been already doing it. So it's good to have a name put on it. So Sherry, your Zoom home office has inspired me. Awesome. It's a pretty simple setup, by the way. I've obviously got some good cameras because I'm having to do virtual a lot. But yeah, just having, I've just revealed to you all I'm a bit OCD with my color-coded bookshelf. But yeah, Zoom is here to stay, guys. So think about, again, just think about how you're going to incorporate virtual into your offering, particularly if you're a service-based business, because I think it's going to be a really untapped opportunity. For people who think we're going to, oh God, thank God that Zoom thing's over and we can go back to normal. Well, Zoom's, an opportunity, and we're all comfortable with it. So how can we incorporate Zoom as a hybrid model into our service delivery moving forward? So Marie, you're an advocate. I love that. Thank you. And I'm an advocate for Mackay and for the Chamber. Thank you for having me, and thank you for organising this. I do actually want to finish, sorry, before I go, is I want you guys to really come away from today realizing, certainly hopefully taking action on some things, but realizing that you in your local community, and particularly with the amazing support you have with the Chamber, is you have a bit of a secret weapon at your disposal. Firstly, as I said, we're going to see this renewed sense of community post-COVID. You have a strong local community, so really leverage that and take comfort in that, because I think it's going to soften the blow a little bit of COVID for you. Connection, I think, is important. The connection that you have with the Chamber, the support that you have from them, but also the connection you have with each other. So think about how you can really draw on that connection, have more conversations, have some authentic conversations with other business owners, support each other, and also think about collaborating. How can you joint venture? How can you work together? Even if you did nothing else leaving today, but all left each other a positive review. These are things that we can do to collaborate, to strengthen our businesses and to support each other. And I think that's going to be really important post-COVID. I do want to finish on a quote that will do your head in for a little while, because it did when I first read it 2 weeks into COVID, but it's been kind of my framework for navigating all of the challenges and roller coaster that has been COVID. It was an Eckhart Tolle quote, and he said, approach this crisis as though you asked for it. As I said, it will do your head in for a couple of days if you haven't heard it. But I do honestly believe that we will look back on this at some point, not in the near future, and realise it was the best thing that happened to us, because it is that reset opportunity that I think a lot of us needed, I think the planet needed. And again, I'm certainly not wanting to minimise the devastation and impact that COVID has had on a lot of people. But look for the silver linings is my kind of final quote. So yeah, thank you for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you sticking with me through the early tech issue, and enjoy the rest of your day, and please keep in touch. I'd love to know how you go, what you take action on, and more importantly, what you do with your video marketing and how you incorporate Omo Tanashi into your existingly already awesome businesses. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Oh, there I am.
Wow.
Waiting again.
Well, thank you so much, Amanda. That's fantastic. Look, I've been furiously typing away all these notes, so just little, bits and pieces, which is great, and I'm sure everybody has, done the same, taken some notes about what you've said. So really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, again. It's been great, really fabulous. So just a reminder to everybody that may still be online that we're going to have a water cooler chat on the 14th of July at 8 a.m. So at this point, it is still going to be a virtual meeting, but there may be a good chance that we'll be able to take it to a venue and meet together. So that'll be great to actually unpack what we've heard from Amanda today. And, so if you haven't registered, please do. And it'll be, a chance to have an informal chat and discuss anything that Amanda has put forward, and maybe recite some of the quotes, although the neck one may be something that we don't say in public. Anyway, so terrific. Thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you again, Amanda. It has been very insightful, and we look forward to seeing everyone at the next Chamber gathering. So terrific. I think we can end it there.
Thanks for having me. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Amanda. I'm waving. Bye.
Bye. Waving.